Hello, my friends. Thad Riley here of the Thadcast, episode 279. We're talking about it. This is an episode that I think you're just going to want to mark and hopefully come back to when you need it on those days that you need it. Because it is just, it's all power. It's all encouragement. It's all good this morning. And I woke up today ready to freaking make it happen. And life is perfect because right now I'm sitting here looking at a kid's Pop-Tart wrapper, trash in the house, and life is not perfect. We're here, aren't we? You and I are here. We're in this world today of chaos and craziness, and all this COVID stuff had to happen during a presidential election, and I'm still upset about my Olympics. Are you still upset about the Olympics? I was having these moments, these videos I was gonna watch of people swimming fast and all this, but here we are. And today we are going to talk about faith and what that looks like. And it's, okay, so if you've seen the movie Avengers Endgame, I'll tell you what faith looks like. It's that moment at the end, towards the end of the movie, where Captain America has been, he's fighting one-on-one with Thanos. Iron Man's down, Thor is down, the Hulk is buried under rubble. He's alone in this fight, and he gets up and he walks out, and there's the sun's poking through the clouds, and there's Thanos, and all of his army has come down from the ship. And there's thousands, it looks like tens of thousands of creatures, of beings ready to come to battle against, and they'd set this whole thing up that they all came down together in this moment, and all that's left to stand against them is Captain America. So here's the deal. Captain America, he gets there, and what happens? He's still walking. He's still standing there. He's on this precipice. And then all of a sudden he hears this, Captain. And he's listen over his radio comm. Captain, can you hear me? Captain, it's Sam. On your left, right? Their old thing. Anyway, watch the movie. It'll explain the whole thing. And I get chills even thinking about it now, because it was and all of his friends show up. And they look like friends, and it's oh, it's so good. It's so good. I'm a 48-year-old man who gets emotional about a moment in the Avengers. So you should turn me off and go listen to somebody else who has a clue. If you're watching this on video, I'm telling you, what a wreck. But Captain America, what did he do? He did that walk because the one who won't be denied can't be denied. Isn't that true? Most of the time that's the case. Not every time, but most of the time, if we really want something and we do what it takes to get there, very often we'll get it. So we talk about that, and what do we have to be that person? We have to have faith. I was what is the definition of faith? Well, faith for me is leaping across a stream knowing you'll land on the other side. It's asking a girl to marry you, even though you're not 100% sure she's going to say yes. Faith is going to the job interview, and there's 500 people, good candidates going for the same job, but you're optimistic that the job is yours to lose. Faith is going for a run before the storm comes, believing you can outrun the storm if it shows up. Faith it's a strong belief in whatever that belief is in. And for the Christian, it's the belief that Jesus is our ultimate hero in this life and beyond. And it is the belief of the Christian faith that without Jesus, that existence leads to eternal death. That is so much of what it is. It is simply about Jesus. Now, the apostles, Jesus is talking to the apostles and maybe a little bit of a crowd in Luke 17, verses 5-6. And he says, and it says there, the apostles said to the Lord, increase our faith. And the Lord and Jesus said, if you had faith like a grain of mustard seed, you could say to this mulberry tree, be uprooted and planted in the sea, the sea, and it will obey you. Now, granted, that's a little bit, off on our times. Mustard seed, mulberry trees planted and all this stuff. So the mustard seed is like this tiny, tiny, tiny little seed, and it grows into this gigantic mustard tree. If you've ever seen them, they're huge, okay? So that's what Jesus is talking about. You can be tiny. Your status in life for what you're going for could be small. You could seem insignificant, but if you believe and have faith, and that faith is rooted in Jesus, right? Our ultimate hero. But if you have faith, then that situation will grow in powerful ways that you can't even believe. And I believe that. That's my life story in so many ways. So it's that faith of that small mustard seed that makes its power happen, is what Jesus is telling us. And again, like I said earlier, the one who won't be denied can't be denied. When our beliefs then collide with our efforts, beautiful things happen. It's like when we pray for something to happen and we go out and work as hard as we possibly can for it to happen. Those two things intersect, and internally we have this satisfaction of strength and power of what God has done through our efforts, and we have more faith in Jesus and then in ourselves so that we can keep going further and further and push harder and harder and harder. And faith has a memory, my friends, and the more success that you have and the more that you put yourself out there with your hopes and your beliefs, the more you will be able to accomplish things, and the easier it'll be. The easier it'll be, right? So, and it is our faith. It is our faith that can give us hope to keep pushing forward, even when it looks like there's no hope left. There's no hope for that to go forward, but it's our faith, right? I mean, imagine the disciples, what was going on. Jesus is hung on the cross. He is dying in front of their eyes, and they watch him being carried off of the cross and put into a tomb, wrapped by Nicodemus and what's his face? How am I forgetting his name? Joseph of Arimathea, wrapped by those two and put into his tomb, and he's gone. Yet Peter and John on the third day sprinted to the tomb because they had this ultimate faith and hope that Jesus was the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. And he is for now, he was before, and for all of eternity. So when we believe that God is doing things in our lives, we are fully reconciling ourselves to his power and the gifts and efforts that he has given us. And sometimes it's just the will that it takes, that refusal to be denied God's best in our lives, that it takes for us to get there. And we arrive there through our stories. That's why Jesus made it into a parable about a mustard seed and a mulberry tree, right? Through our stories. And that's what helps us to push through and make things happen, Well, listen, I think that's it. I think that's all we need for episode 279 of this thing that we call the Thadcast. Hey, you took time out of your day to listen. I thank you for that. If you could share this with a friend or two, that would make my day. Those reviews on iTunes are great. They're absolutely incredible for me. And that's it. So again, thank you for joining me here on the Thadcast. And until next time, my dear friends, may you be blessed.